let's start with one that probably some of you have already participated in, which is I'm going to put some Tums underneath the tomato plant in order to prevent blossom end rot, because that's a lack of calcium.
Right. So, this is obviously a myth because we're talking about it, or it doesn't work, but it does work.
All of these don't work, okay? So,
well, it does work, but you have to have a bunch.
We had our first guest of the year back in March, Robert Polovis, was on the program, and he enlightened us. He's the gardenmyth.com guy. And yes, the Tums does work. However, in order to get the proper amount of calcium in the soil for your tomato plant to uptake correctly, you need 80 Tums. The uptake of calcium is not necessarily the exact result of blossom end rot, the blackening of the tomato underneath as it ripens. The problem is inconsistent water, and we've said it time and time again. You can add all the calcium in the world to your soil, but if you don't consistent or regularly water and keep that soil damp to allow the calcium that you have already in your soil to be transferred from the soil into the plant due to that moisture being in the soil, allowing that transfer to take place, you're going to have the problem over and over and over again. So yes, Tums do work. You need 80 of them per plant, but the much cheaper alternative is just to simply water consistently. And if you really are concerned, there are certain areas where calcium deficiency is a real thing and not a made-up, I saw it on the internet, so I got to do it in my garden. You get a soil test from soilsavvy.com. They'll give you 16 points of analyzation to tell you what you have and what you don't have and how to get what you need in order to have a healthy garden.
Right, and I was just reading today about a few things when I was looking at some of these garden myths, and a lot of these macronutrients like calcium, potassium, magnesium, etc. Most soil is not lacking it.
No,
it's usually something they're lacking, like nitrogen, phosphorus,
the big
potassium.
three. Yeah, in some instances.
So this is why it's good to have this education on these garden myths, because you might not even be lacking this nutrient macro. Macro? No, yeah. It would be micro.
Macro and micronutrients.
Right.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be necessarily even lacking it, but because, the internet exists, or your neighbor from back in 1982 told you this, now you believe it. But again, you're simply just kind of watering the plants, and that's what makes a difference.